Good morning, guys, from the beautiful Voyager of the Seas. I am on board. It is super early and I am ready to walk you guys through the entire ship. So let's do a ship tour. I am now on deck 2, so it's the lowest deck with something to do on board. There is deck 1, but it's only for boarding and disembarking the ship, and that's where the crew have their I-95, so their kind of main highway throughout the ship. But here at the front of deck 2, there's some conference rooms. Then there's also the Crown and Anchor Loyalty Ambassador desk. So here it is. They also have the hours of operation here, at least for this cruise. And then there is the conference center with some conference rooms and activities. So if you're here with a group or if you're on a conference, this is where you would come. And as we make it to deck 3, we first have the lower level of the Royal Theatre. I'll give you some shots of that later because it's closed at the moment. You have great access to the Royal Theatre straight from the casino and schooner bar. So they're just right over there. We'll look at that in a bit. And you walk down and you are straight at the main theater. And this deck is a bit funny. So there's other stuff here as well, but you can't get across. So we're here. This is the Royal Theatre, or the lower level of it. But then there's staterooms, and then there's this cutoff, so you can't get across. So what I'll do is I'll pop on to deck 4. We will look at deck 4, and then we'll go back down and check out the other side of deck 3. So let's go. So here you have the upper level to the Royal Theatre, but usually they don't have the entrances open. So if you want to go in, you usually go through the downstairs entrance, and then once you're in the theatre, you can then make it upstairs to the upper viewing platforms. And then you also have access to the outside. It's not the running deck, but you still have access to the outside. So you have some seating areas here where people come and read, or you have beautiful views. And this is also the muster deck. So this is where the lifeboats are. And when you get on board the cruise ship, this is where you would come to do the safety drill before the cruise takes off. So an important deck, but again, not for running, but beautiful to enjoy the outdoors and do some reading and have great views of the ocean, which right now, since it's pitch black, we can't see anything. Then as we continue, the Royal Theatre is now behind us, and then we have Giovanni's here, one of the specialty dining restaurants. I will put up the menu so you can see, because this GoPro is not very good with details, but there's so much good food here. Then after Giovanni's, you have the schooner bar here. There's the piano there, so you usually have live music, you have pub trivia, all kinds of fun stuff, and the bartenders are excellent. This is one of our favorite places to hang out, in those 2 chairs right there. So we are very often here because it's just a great place. There's lots to do. I did origami folding one day that they were having there. So a very central part of the ship. We love it. Then right off of the schooner bar, we enter the Royal Casino. Lots of games. There's a non-smoking side and there's a smoking side. Of course, it gets a little bit smoky all over, but in general, there's a side that should be a bit less smoky if you want to come, but don't want to be in the smoke. And the cashier is right back there. Then we have the tavern, so another bar. They have some screens, so it's a little bit like the sports bar on board. Nice seating, and you have views to the deck outside, the muster deck, so that's there. And then you have the art gallery on this side. And then we end up at the dining room. So this is one of the main dining room levels, which is beautiful. All right, so now let's pop back down to deck 3 because we didn't see what was on deck 3 at the back of the ship. So here we go. Not a lot to see since everything is closed, but there you have Studio B, which is the ice skating area. So there you have ice skating and ice shows happening. Here you have the photo gallery, so you can come order photos. If you've taken them, you get to preview them on the screens and then pick whichever ones you want to buy. And there behind is just the lower level of the main dining room, which we just looked at. So there's one entrance here at the back of deck 3, there's one on deck 4, which we were just at, and then final level of the main dining room is then on deck 5. But here, this is what you find at the back of the ship on deck 3. As I said, a little bit funny because deck 3 is not fully connected, so you can't get across. I believe it's because of Studio B, because it's in the center, but could be something else as well. Not sure why, but just something to keep in mind, especially if you have a cabin on deck 3, then you need to remember that you can't get across on your own deck. You would need to pop over to deck 4, for example, to get across. So then we're ready to head over to deck 5, which is the promenade deck. So there's lots to do on deck 5. So first, as I said, there is the access to the main dining room. All of the 3 levels are connected. So you saw that beautiful shot that I just took, but here is one of the entrances at the very back. Then you have guest services. So you would come here if you need any help with your cruise, throughout the cruise, if you have any questions. Then there is the R bar, a really nice venue, some cute seating, a little bit more cozy than, for example, the schooner bar in terms of size. And there's a bar here for drinks. Then next to guest services, there's also the shore excursions desk. So here is where you would come if you still wanted to book any shore excursions once you get on board. So all of that is here before we get on the Royal Promenade. And the Royal Promenade is just packed full of shops. There's the pub, so let's take a look. There's also access to the casino from here, so you can go down. So behind us, we just walked past the Cafe Promenade. So that's open basically 24/7, so you can always get some snacks or some coffee or whatever you're in the mood for throughout the day. So there's always something there if you're feeling peckish. It's right at the end of the promenade, and it's a great place to do some people watching if you want to. So that's super convenient for the entire cruise. Now here we are at the very front of the ship. Let's take a look at what's here. So we have the Star Lounge. Which is a venue where they have the art auctions, which they're setting up right now. But there's also some shows and some entertainment, and there's a bar here as well. So a smaller area than the theater for some shows, but much more cozy, I think. And then we have the space for the Crown Lounge, which is a space for Diamond and above members. So here you would find the Crown and Anchor concierge, so they can help you with shore excursions, reservations, anything. They will book that for you. The restaurants. Then there's a section for free coffee, although the coffee machine has been broken on this cruise, but we can then pop over to Cafe Promenade to get the specialty coffees from there, since that one's not working this cruise. And then they have some hors d'oeuvres and breakfast during a set amount of hours here. And there's a nice amount of seating. So just a nice space to come and relax a little bit if you want to get out of the hustle and bustle of the rest of the ship. All right, then we're ready to head up to the next deck. All right, so we are now on deck 5, which had the promenade and everything to do. The next few floors have mainly just staterooms, but we will go take a look at where next cruise is and where the library is before then we jump to the pool deck. So let's go take a look. Those are at the very back of the ship. And by the way, I apologize if I have a husky sounding voice today. We have had a time with our air conditioning. It's either trying to bake us or freeze us. So every morning we wake up with a little bit of a sore throat. It gets better throughout the day, but you can definitely hear it in my voice. So not quite normal, but we'll get there. But hopefully you can make out what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to save my voice. So I still have some left for the rest of the day. So here you have the next cruise station. It's dark now since it's closed, but here you can come and book your next cruise while you're already on board. This one, sometimes they have good deals for you, or they waive the reservation fee, or you get better deals on that. Or you get better terms on that. So definitely worth a visit if you're looking to book your next cruise already. And here you have views down to the promenade where we just were. If we continue to deck 7 on the same side of the ship, we have then the library. So here you can come borrow some books, and then you can return them once you're done with them on your cruise. A lot of people come hang out in the card room just for some quiet time, to play cards or hang out with friends. It's a really nice space, and again, a little bit more calm if the rest of the ship is going crazy with cruise activities. So now let's head over to deck 11. All right, so here at the very back of the ship, we have Chop's Grill, which is one of the specialty restaurants on board. It's the steakhouse. We have loved it this cruise. It's very good food. And again, let me pop a picture of the menu for you. And by the way, all of the menus that I've showed to you, the best place to check them is on the Royal Caribbean website, because there you can always see the most up-to-date menu. Sometimes they have changes. They've remained pretty stable over the past few years, especially for the specialty dining, but you never know. So if you want to see what's currently being served in all of the restaurants, go to Royal Caribbean and you can find them there. I usually just type in Google chopped squirrel menu, and that gets me straight to the link. Sometimes on the website I can't figure out where to find, where to navigate to what I want to see. But we have to wait a little bit for it to get a little bit lighter, that we can actually see something on the pool deck. As you can see, the sun hasn't quite come up. But let's continue, because here we have then the Windjammer, which is the main buffet next to Chops. All right, so I went to grab a cup of coffee to tide me over until the sun rises, but it is slowly coming up. I can see a glimmer of light there in the horizon. So I think after I finish my cup of coffee, we can continue this ship tour. I'm already here in the solarium, and it's just around 6 a.m. and there's already the first people in the hot tub. So that's vacation done right. But let's see, I will watch the sunrise and then we'll continue our tour. All right, so I think we're starting to have enough light outside. The sun is slowly coming up. So let's continue this tour. I am so surprised at how many people are up and about this early. Okay, it's not that early anymore. It's now like 6:15, but still, there's already people in the hot tubs. There's people walking around. It hasn't been this busy, I don't think, ever when I've done a previous ship tour, but I do know that the age on this ship is also quite high. So lots of early birds here on this cruise, it seems. But let's continue the tour. So we'll first take a look at the solarium. So there's a big pool here in the center. It's now covered over since it's closed, but very nice pool. And then you have hot tubs on both sides. And then there's also the solarium bar, which is closed now. Here is the main pool deck. So you have a stage where the band is playing, some events are held here. You have pools on both sides. You have hot tubs, multiple ones, and then you have some seating area for the suites and the pinnacles here, which are reserved, but all the other sun chairs all around are for all the guests. So there's plenty of space here. And they play some movies here, so you can sit in the hot tub and watch some movies. It's the perfect combo on vacation. And let me just give you one more view of the pool area from up here. And then it's probably a better view from up here than I could show you down below. But they have the pool bar, which is down there, that's on the pool deck. But then there is the Sky Lounge, which is on top. So it's just another pool bar, but it's one level up. So if you're hanging around sunbathing up here, you then have a bar more conveniently, so you don't have to run up and down between the pool deck and then the deck up here. On Navigator and the same class of ships, I don't know if it's on all of the smaller ships, but at least this one, there's lots of hidden spots to do some sunbathing. So one of them is here. On top of the Sky Lounge, you have the stairs that go up here, and you have a whole space up there to enjoy and to sunbathe, and there as well. So if you go up those stairs, you have this whole area where you can hang out. So let's go take a look. Look at this view. Just stunning. Look at that sunrise, beautiful. And then here you have the sun chairs. And let's pop back there. I'll show you that space as well. So, rows and rows of sun chairs. So even though this is a smaller ship, you will not run out of places to hang out, sunbathe, enjoy the fresh outdoors, and nothing is too far away from the pools if you want to combine that with also enjoying the sun. And we are now at the very front of the ship. Behind me, you can see a little peek of the helipad, which I will also show you before we finish up the tour. That's probably the last thing I'll show you because it's usually super windy out front on the helipad, but you have access to the helipad here, which you don't have it on all of the ships. So that's something really special, and you have great views, especially on port days. You can go and see, what's around you. On sea days, it's beautiful ocean views, so nothing to complain about that either. But I will show you that in a bit. So let's just finish up with the last places here on board. That's where we're going. So then here we have the spa, which is off this way. You walk down the hall, and then there's kind of the reception lounge and all of the rooms where they do the spa services. So that's here at the back of the ship on deck 12. And then we also have the arcade and Adventure Ocean. So here on the other side, spa was over there. Then on this side you have Adventure Ocean and the arcade. So if you want to take advantage of the babysitting services, you can check with Adventure Ocean. It is an extra cost. And then there is the arcade. And then we have the sports court, which is really a funny hidden place. You don't come across it or you don't walk by it by chance. So you have to come here at the very back of deck 13, and then you have this little hole here that takes you all the way back. So it's not super convenient in terms of getting to and from the pool deck and here, which I would say is a little bit of a minus on the usability, especially if you have a family with kids of different ages. But let's take a look. So once you do make it out here, there's then the huge sports court where they have different kinds of activities, basketball, pickleball, things like that. You have the rock climbing wall, which is just up the stairs there. You can see it better from this side. There you go. And then behind us here, you have the water slides as well as the flow rider. So all of the fun water activities are back here. And then of course you have the mini golf. Now let's just pop over here. No mini golf for us now, but let's just take a quick shortcut. Because I wanted to show you one more thing, not relevant for everybody, but if you have access to the suite lounge, you also have access to it from here. So the suite lounge is up there. So that's the Crown. They have the suite lounge on this part. They also have the nightclub and then Izumi on the other side. But here, suite lounge, they have like an outside area, and then you can get up and down from these steps there. All right, so the last area is in the Crown. We are on deck 14. You have the suite lounge here, which I can't show you since we are not in a suite this time, but you would find it here. You swipe your card and you go in. You then have this nightclub area. There's a DJ here at night. There's the dance floor there. And you have amazing views from up here. There's also a bar, and you can just hang out here, come and chill, look at these amazing views. So you can check out the pool deck, you can check out the sea views, just a beautiful space. This area is interesting because it's utilized a little bit differently on each ship. On this ship, it is open to everybody, except for the suite lounge part. But other than that, you can come out and hang up here, and it's just beautiful. I love the way that they've utilized the Viking Crown on this ship. And then if we leave this space, that's the dance floor, then I have one final thing to show you, and that is Izumi. So that's the sushi restaurant. They have it currently set up for the sushi making class, but you can come here for lunch or dinner. All right, we are almost done. I have shown you most of what you can find here on Voyager of the Seas. So as just one final cherry on top, let's go take a look at the helipad. All right, so if my memory serves me right, this is the way to get to the helipad. So you come out, we're on deck 4 now. So this is where we have schooner and the casino. You come out to this muster deck, which I showed you. So here, there's some seating, there's the sea views, which you didn't see earlier when we were here because it was pitch black, but great area to hang out. But then you move to the forward of the ship, so all the way to the front, and you can find these stairs that will take us to the helipad. I need to hold on to my hat because I think it'll be a bit windy. Let's see, we're moving, so it's always a bit more windy rather than when we're in port and stationary. Huh, what do you know? It's not too bad. But here we are. The bridge is just up there, so the captain and his crew steering the ship. And here in front of me is the helipad. I don't think I've ever been out on the helipad with it being so calm. This is so great. And then here at the very front, you can do your Jack and Rose moment if you want to. Can't get more to the front of the ship than this. Let's do it. You want to do it? Let's do it. So much fun. Thank you so much for joining me on this ship tour. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I've done it a couple years ago, but now you have a fresh look at what Voyager of the Seas looks like today. And it's actually after this cruise that we're on, it's going to a dry dock. So it's getting a little bit of refurbishment. They're going to be fixing a little of the kinks and whatever they have. It's an older ship, but it's been very nicely maintained, so you barely notice it. We have a little things in our cabin that definitely need a little bit of sprucing up, like the hinges on some of the doors are getting a bit tired, but everything else has been great. So thank you for joining me on this tour today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know any questions you have in the comments and I will be happy to answer them if I can. And I hope that if you have a cruise booked on Voyager, you enjoy it. And if you don't, what are you doing? Get booking, come see. I love this ship. It's a smaller ship, but it's the perfect size. So the crowds spread out throughout the ship. Since it's not huge, it's not that many people as well. So you usually find nice places to hang out, and there's a lot of those nooks and crannies that I tried to show you where you could then go and just have a bit of peaceful time if you want to get away from the crowds, or if you want to be in the middle of the crowds enjoying your cruise to the fullest. There's plenty of spaces for that as well. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you on the channel next time. Bye guys.
About to leave, already packing, come with me, I'm not really asking, we'll get away to a place where we don't know.